Mr. Azad, how would you read the advisory of the Delhi police saying keep at least 3 hours when you get to an airport, at least an hour plus 2 hours when you get to a railway station, and time when you get to a metro station? Does this indicate that there is still an apprehension that terrorists out there at large could still strike?
Absolutely. I mean, it means that there are advanced security drills to be made at all these venues, the public places. And in fact, Gaurav, when you were showing the cars and their traceability and how 4 cars have been traced now, the first car, you see, was used as a VBIED, I mean, vehicle borne implosive explosive device. And you remember JM had used the same form of attack against J&K Assembly in 2001. So, and the kind of things which I've heard only on your channel that recce was done of RSS office in Lucknow or some of these areas which have busy markets. So it really looks like the plan was to create a mayhem in a metro city by using these VBIDs only, vehicle borne. And that's why one vehicle belonged to that lady, that terrorist, and one belonged to Omar, and there are 2 more you've already located. And the other thing about this, the Delhi police circular, which has been sent, extremely important. I hope the IB also has sent a circular to all the states, because the way you are coming out with information, the linkages would touch other states too. UP definitely.
It indeed is, and it's very alarming. You know, we are not putting out every bit of information that we have in public domain that we get from our sources. You're absolutely right. So you have doctors from Jammu and Kashmir, from Pulwama, from Tral, from Shopian, from Srinagar, who've been taken into custody. Doctors from Lucknow who've been taken into custody. Doctors who are operating in Kanpur who've been taken into custody. Doctors who are in Faridabad, Al-Falah Hospital. And sir, General Meston, if I could bring you in for a quick moment before I get back to Mr. Azad. The fact that these people were planning it so meticulously, living in Faridabad, but traveling to Mewat, traveling to Nuh to buy ammonium nitrate, using multiple cars, going at different times, and different doctors going, then returning, then having a storehouse, a separate storage space, some 300 meters away from the main university, where some of the ammonium nitrate was stored. And there's a diary, there's an entire list with names and some codes. This is very alarming, General Meston.
Gaurav, absolutely. Firstly, it's a fantastic job being done by the NIA and the police authorities of various states, especially J&K and of course Delhi police and Haryana police and UP police. It's a job well done. Now, coming on to the question proper, I think these guys, highly educated doctors, they have done absolutely meticulous planning. And the fact of the matter is that going to Mewat and procuring all this ammonium nitrate, this shows, you know, that they were intelligent. And let me tell you, Gaurav, there is solid amount of local support. Nothing can be done without local support. And the issues which immediately strike anyone's mind is, number one, who's funding so much? You know, buying of 4 cars, and that too expensive cars like EcoSport. Number two is this procurement of ammonium nitrate. That also costs money, and how they've been able to get it. Again, it has been provisioned by the locals, and probably there is a factory running in Mewat which is producing this, because if you mix ammonia and nitric acid, it can also yield that, or it is a commercially available fertilizers. That is next point. The third point is, you know, the local support, tremendous amount of local support is there. And why I'm saying a good job being done by the NIA and all the investigative agencies is that every hour, Gaurav, so many things are being unraveled. The truth has to come out, and even the Turkey plan, you know, right from the start point, the handler to everything, I think we are doing a good job. Each minute we are getting some new updates. And I think
Which is very alarming. It's actually, Mr. Azad, it's a race against time to catch hold of this module, because, you know, Dr. Adil was taken into custody, Dr. Muzammil was taken into custody, Dr. Shaheen was taken into custody, Dr. Ansari was absconding, Dr. Umar was absconding, Dr. Umar managed to carry out the terror attack, Dr. Ansari was subsequently arrested. But we still do not know how many more doctors or paramedics or other members of this module may still be out there waiting to strike at a moment where they can cause maximum damage in our country to our people.
One of the main leads, which of course the security agencies must be looking at, is there's 2 Maulvis who are the people he has actually been
Indoctrinating.
radicalizing, how many
Yes.
people have attended, because radicalization, mind you, Gaurav, takes a deep kind of indoctrination, and it takes time. So there must be people who must be more and more people who must be involved, and they certainly have to be tracked. Secondly, the other point is that after you've shown, it's horrifying. There are four vehicles being used in different manners. Maybe there are more vehicles to be used. Are there other cities like Lucknow where the RSS office was, recce? And then the other thing which is worrying me, Gaurav, is that if you see that Raisin module from Gujarat, in which the
Yes.
doctors were from Telangana, I mean, that would have caused even a more kind of an mayhem if that would mix with Temple Prasad. You can imagine the kind of
Yes.
social fallout it could have on national security. So I think there is a lot to go into with this, the linkages. And one important thing which General also mentioned, I must point that out, is that it's extremely important now to see on those encrypted messages what are the kind of directions they have, so that we can look into those directions. Number two, also the kind of money, whether there is any cryptocurrency trail, because mind you,
Yes.
these fellows are in
Very
Turkey
important
and these
point,
people
sir.
had visited.
Very, very important point you raised there. Funding. In fact, that's another story we'll be breaking just in a moment from now. The Enforcement Directorate has now been roped in. From what my sources tell me, Union Home Minister Amit Shah held a meeting, and in that meeting, the Director of Enforcement Directorate was also called in to probe the financial aspect of this entire case. Somewhere we are told that the effort is to plug the gaps. Was this Hawala money? Was this cryptocurrency? Or was it money that was coming into an NGO for welfare? And I'll tell you something more about it in just a moment. We're just waiting for some more information to filter in. Breaking news coming in. Breaking news coming in. The air ticket from Srinagar to Delhi found in the house of a doctor held from Saharanpur. This is a flight ticket that's been recovered from Dr. Adil Ahmed's house in Saharanpur, which showed that he traveled from Srinagar to Delhi on the 31st of October, days before the November 10 car explosion near Red Fort that killed. Sadly, the death toll has now gone up to 13 and injured at least 20. I want to bring in our reporters who are breaking this big story. But as I do that, so, there is a longer list that seems to emerge, and Mr. Azad, this list, this back and fro, to and fro from Srinagar, back and forth from Srinagar again and again and again, that Maulvi Maulana Irfan of the Nauga Masjid has been taken into custody. Apparently, there is some information that will come out of there in just a while, because he was in touch with doctors over several years, and which would indicate that there are sleeper cells, not just in Delhi or in Haryana, in other parts of the country too.
In fact, Gaurav, one of the, that's why the point which I mentioned is that it's extremely important to ferret out all the details from him, as also from the mosque, which was visited by Dr. Umar just before the blast, where he was hanging
Yes.
around. It's
Turkman
quite
Gate.
possible there could be somebody there also whom he was sharing in confidence, and maybe that mosque could have been used for some purposes, which is extremely important. On the other hand, also from the other doctors, there has to be a rich minefield of information. The people around in the Al-Falah Institute who didn't report, who refused to, who just maintained silence and they stayed away. Was it because of fear? Was it because they remained, or they have seen? A lot of material is going to come out. By the way, the government has also cautioned the university for not using wrong, titles, and it has already come out in the papers. So I think
Yes.
a lot has to be looked into there also.
General Meston, we are now being told the university claims they are getting no foreign funding, and they've said this on camera. They've said no foreign funds were received. They will cooperate entirely and completely with investigations, and they say whatever has happened, they claim universities had absolutely no role in it, not complicit. They were unaware. They will cooperate with investigations. But who are the doctors that this group was in touch with? I'm told there is a notebook, there is a diary, there are some papers recovered from room number 4, room number 13, and that other room, attached room outside the university, some 300 meters away, where the explosives were stored. That will give a lot of information. But if people had nothing to do with this and they were in touch with these people, shouldn't those doctors come out on their own, volunteer information, join investigations, instead of reaching out to them, then arresting them and then interrogating them? If they have nothing to do with it, then I think all those people must come out on their own, General Meston.
Yeah, absolutely, Gaurav. Firstly, Al-Falah University, if they claim they were not aware, I beg to differ, with their statements. Reason being, a security also has a security establishment, institution. They have a security establishment. Any entry, any exit from the university campus is noted by the security people. What were they doing? Explosives are going inside, weapons are going inside. That means the security people who are part of the Al-Falah University, they are being paid by them. They are accountable, and a lot of doctors are also accountable because they knew everything. And I think they have no choice. The Delhi police, Haryana police will get out all possible details. That is one. Secondly, the control has been from Turkey, Ankara, and this person, Osaka, I think Okasa,
Yes.
I think our people in agencies already, external agencies, they would be finding out who this person is. Obviously, it has to be a Jaish-e-Mohammed chap, and Turkey role is also possible. The third part is, Gaurav, I would also like to highlight this I-20 blast. Earlier, even I was thinking it's an accident or he was cornered. But now it is very clear why the crater was not made, because the bag was kept in the rear seat, which has been very evident. And therefore, because of the seat taking so much of blast, and I think that is why his limbs and legs, etc., would have been thrown forward because of the pressure of the blast. So that is the reason the crater has not been made. And next is, a very important lead is this person going to the masjid. He was there for 10 minutes. In Afghanistan, any suicide bomber who was tasked, he always
Yes.
used to be going to the masjid and then only doing. So he has
Yes.
gone to the masjid to be very firm that now so it was not an accident. Yes, he was cornered. He had no option, and therefore the last option was to do a suicide bombing, and this is what he has done. Earlier, I was thinking, it is some remote control outside, someone
Yes.
wanted to kill him. So he was cornered. He had no choice. So masjid gave him motivation. And the fact of the matter is, then he stood outside, waiting in the parking area of the another masjid. That
Yes,
itself
Sunehri
shows that
Masjid.
he did not want to meet anyone to change his mind. So his mind
So
was very
first it
firm.
was the Turkman Gate Masjid, then the Sunehri Masjid, then that U-turn, and sadly, then the explosion. Mr. Azad, stay with me. General Meston, stay with me.